Hello and welcome to Evening. I'm your host, Sajat Akash. From Queen Zenobia to Joan of Arc to modern-day hero Malala Yousafzai, women have again and again changed the world. Women have been taking on leadership roles since the beginning of time and changing the status quo by taking action in their homes and in their communities. But what makes a woman a leader? How can she play an important part in her society? Can women be the voices of change that so many societies need? And what examples are there of women who transform their world and our lives, starting from their own neighborhoods? In today's episode, we're going to take a look at all these questions. We'll be welcoming Dr. Khouloud Khatib, the founder and president of the Human Rights Center at LIU, and Mrs. Fatima Haidar will also be joining us by phone. She's the principal of the Canadian Lebanese Academy of Excellence and a finalist at Nudify's Lebanon Outstanding Women Awards. First, let's take a look at this report.
Can women make good leaders? The latest studies show that they absolutely can. Dr. Herb Greenberg, the president and CEO of Caliper, a management consulting firm, says that the special qualities of women combine to create a leadership style that is inclusive, open, consensus-building, collaborative, and collegial. Women's leadership styles are described as more intuitive, nurturing, and empathetic compared to that of their male counterparts. These traits do not only serve well in business and in politics, but also at grassroots level. Women can play a huge role within their own communities and societies, inspiring change for the better. History has provided us with example after example of this. From the wife of Pharaoh, who followed her conscience and accepted God in the face of adversity, to Lady Khadija, the wife of Prophet Muhammad, whose financial and social support allowed the Prophet to successfully deliver his message. Modern-day community leaders include women in all fields who saw something they believed was wrong and struggled to make it right. In Pakistan, a teenage girl named Malala Yousafzai spoke out in favor of women's education, resulting in her being shot by the ruling Taliban. After she recovered, she steadfastly continued her mission and now advocates for women's rights all over the world.
Welcome, Dr. Khouloud. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm great. Thank you.
It's very nice to have you here. Dr. Khouloud, we're going to first take a look at the Human Rights Council. The Human Rights Center. What is it exactly and what are its goals?
The Human Rights Center actually was established at the Lebanese International University 2 years before, with a mission to raise awareness for the students about their basic rights and human rights, and to really get mobilized with them for their sustainable development in the society. So it started by melding really all the students from different majors in order to work for common goals, work on training programs for the short run and for research and for the long run.
Do you have any emphasis on women's rights, on women's issues within the HRC?
Sure. Gender equity is one of the most important agenda of our rights. Students have really worked on an academic real project, and they will start mobilizing and taking a lot of trainings about their role as women, about their as leaders also in a society, and in addition for the gender equity to recognize in laws whether we have discrimination, what are the lacking issues for women in the Lebanese laws and constitutions.
Very nice. I want to ask you a little bit about the short term, what you hope to achieve through the Human Rights Center, and about the long term as well.
Actually, Sajja, in the short run, we're really working about common goals of human rights. So we're taking an issue and then we're mobilizing the students and training them on the noble issue of these rights, and making every one of the students with his or her skills adding to this project. So we're melding with the marketing and the radio and TV major and the management and the graphic design on these common projects to get up with a collaborative learning all together. And for the short run, of course, we're aiming to have a research center for really issuing studies and academic notes and articles about human rights.
Very nice. How about the long term? What do you think the impact of the Human Rights Center is going to be on Lebanese society?
First of all, you can see the impact in the eyes of the students when you see them, the spirit in them just shining up, and they live it in soul and mind and body. It really having impact on their language, on their kind of mobilization in life, And on the impact of the society, because let us see the society now, let us see the society 50 years before. Of course, we see the change.
Yes.
And this change didn't come from nothing. It came from a background, from real motivations of the people and the personnel who really work on these issues in the society.
What do you believe are the most powerful agents that brought about this change?
People are the really agents who really work for this. And of course, because everyone is in need to improve something in a society.
Yes.
So let's look at the society and look at the needs that we need in society, and then we start what does society needs. Actually, we need a lot of evolutions at the level of the human rights.
Of course we do. Can I ask you about the inspiration behind the Human Rights Center? What inspired you to start it?
Actually, it started with an idea, and the idea turns to be a vision. And the vision turns to be a dream, and the dream comes true with all the efforts of my peer colleagues, which I say great high for them in the university. And then when we touch the spirit of the students, because we do believe that these academic institutions are not only to teach books.
Yes.
It is only to build up, and they train the individuals to be a real builders in the society.
Very nice. Dr. Khouloud, can you tell us how the HRC has grown throughout the years? Like, where were you 2 years ago, and where are you right now?
2 years ago, we started by launching, by having, first of all, creating an awareness with the students.
Yes.
And then a second stage, building partnership with a lot of NGOs who are really specialized in this field. And phase 3 was melding up all the students together from heterogeneous backgrounds to end up with a common project, as I told you before.
Yes.
We did a great event at UNESCO when they were defending for the prisoners' rights in Lebanon. So the students of theater were acting a performance act about what's the real status quo of prisons in Lebanon. And the students of music were building up and composing lyrics. Students of human rights were doing the academic research. The students of radio and TV were doing the short movie. Students of, let me not forget, the graphic designers were doing the layout of the whole project.
Very nice.
And all of those together with the marketing team and with the ushers team and everybody was really building up for this conference, which was really great.
So it seems like you really brought together everybody from all different domains, from all different majors, and like you said, mobilized them to achieve just one certain goal, the one goal that they had in mind.
Sure, because everyone will feel, because I did that, I added value to this project from my background. That's why they are motivated.
Yes. What effect do you think that being in the Human Rights Center, working through the Human Rights Center, like you said, taking ownership of what you did in the Human Rights Center, what effect does that have on the students who joined the HRC?
They are now preliminary activists to be real activists in the civil society.
Okay.
First of all, this activism was not in mind because they haven't chance to learn about it. They have no chance to tell them there is something here waiting for you. There is a case that you need to struggle for. There is a belief that you may deeply believe, but you don't know. It's an implicit duty within them, and now turning to be explicit in front of the society. So these students now start to have their own language, start to have their own idea, start to set plans, and start to turn the plans to tactics, and then putting short-term and long-term, starting to have teamwork with each other.
Okay, so they learned that if there's something that they believe strongly about, that there is something they can do. That the world isn't as it is, and it's a static. That there is something that they can do to be agents of change to achieve the goal and the society that they want to live in.
100%, because when there is a will, there is a way. But we have to really understand that we're facing a lot of challenges in the society by having this kind of movement.
Oh, like what?
Challenges? If you see in Lebanon, look at the sectarian bases we have.
Of course.
Look at the diversity in Lebanon, which was a really attractive for the whole world. Look what's happening nowadays in the society. Look how much diversification we have. So that's why we need one language that really unites people irrespective of their sex or color or sect or gender or religion or nationality, because a lot of things really join together as humans.
That's right. There's more in common than there is different, but not many people see that kind of thing.
Sure.
Dr. Khouloud, were you ever surprised by a result of the Human Rights Center?
Actually, surprise is not the word that I'm going to use in this occasion,
Okay.
because when you get surprised, it means you didn't have this expectation. It comes out of your expectation. No, I really was putting a high expectation and was relying on the effort of these students. When I really saw them, how they were hardly working and hardly encouraged to work for this issue.
Yes.
They met the expectation. Yes. We need more. Yes. We need to exercise more efforts. Yes. We need to have more roles, of course. And that's what we are building up.
Very nice. We're going to move from the HRC, from the activism that you saw, and from the energy of the students that you said you experienced. You saw how they turned into passive actors, into very much active members of their society. Let's go and look at women in Lebanon. What role do you see for women in their communities? Do they have a role?
Sajra, when I say women, I cannot see one role. I can envision plenty of roles.
Yes.
I can see women as a free, independent person.
Yeah, of course.
I can see women as a mother nurturing her kids.
Yes.
I can see women as an educator. I can see women as an activist in the civil society, advocating, campaigning, lobbying, defending for a belief. I can see women holding a lot of managerial positions. I can see women as a member in political party, a member in a parliament, a president of Lebanon. But in Lebanon, actually, like most of the Arab community, we have a lot of obstacles because it is really male-oriented. And still, although we have this norm or trend of being male-oriented, still women really prove herself to be a leader.
Yes.
So I'd make a shift.
Okay.
So instead of saying, can women lead? Now we can say, how can women effectively lead?
Very nice.
So they are now really and confessing they are community leaders.
So you don't believe that they have a role? That's not the question that you're looking at. What you're looking at is what is their role? How many roles can they take? And how can they best fill those roles? Is that true?
Yeah, sure, because now you can deny that she has a role in the society.
Of course.
Now let us look, nobody can deny her this. This is something inherent and come by nature. But we need more roles. We need her to be a leader in this community.
When we do talk about women as community leaders, what do we mean exactly by that phrase?
A community leader is a person who really works for the well-being of a community, who puts a lot of effort within his or her job or within his or her contribution in a society. But I must see, can women be this community leader? If we want to make comparison between the Western and the American societies and the Arab world, let us look deeply into what obstacles we have in the Arab communities. Women, indeed, nowadays, they are leaders. They are capable to lead. They have full interpersonal skills. But it's facing a lot of challenges due to society's attitudes. Because we do have a stereotype, gender discrimination. And we do have something we call glass ceiling, a special position where women cannot skip over. Because of this, we do not accept societies as being homogeneous. We want women to be community leaders. We want the society to accept the diverse strategies that women can add for this society.
What do you think we can do to allow society to accept this diverse role?
We can do a lot. Everyone from his or her own position, and the feminist movement should not only be women. It should be men also supporting, because women does really need to be equipped by men, not only be threatened by a gender masculine society.
So it's a partnership. Men and women should work together for women's rights. It's not man against woman in any way.
For sure. If you want to foresee or look at a society as an ideal, you see partnership. The same as marriage. What is marriage? It's a partnership between a male and female, a wife and husband. We're no dominant role and no inferior roles.
Of course. Doctor, do you have any examples from history that we can take a look at of women who truly changed their communities?
Actually, I don't want to go into names because they are countless. Because if we do really look at the feminist movement through all the world, we see a lot of people and a lot of women do a radical change in their society. Starting from Zenobia, as you've said in a report, to Queen Cleopatra, to Queen Elisar. They were really leaders in their society and really have strategic action, strategic plans. But let us look at the community, recent community, or let us say 50 years before, when the feminist movement starts. Women, they had no right to vote. They had no right to work. They had no right to be visible in the society.
Okay.
There were something called anonymous women lying over there. The feminist movement started. They struggled for something, and now we give them the full credits for them.
Very nice.
Because if we are working nowadays, because of them.
Okay.
If we have a chance now to participate in public society and public affairs, because of them. But the movements of women vary from community to community.
Yep.
Because it's based on needs. If we are struggling now to have a right for women to grant nationality for her kids, this is something very simple, for example, in other societies.
That's right. That's right. So we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go.
We drive safely, and not safely maybe in Lebanon, but we drive very simply in Lebanon, and this is something a need in other communities.
Of course.
So that's why we say that
So every community has its own need, and women need to come in and fill those needs.
Yeah.
Okay.
But nobody can deny the right of women. For example, what's happening in the Arab Springs now. Don't you think with me, Sarah?
Yeah, the Arab Spring, we're going to be taking a look at the Arab Spring actually, right after this break. Dr. Khouloud Al-Khatib, the head of the Human Rights Center in LIU. We're going to be taking a very small break.
Around the world, outside the mainstream, anywhere, everywhere. A media of your land, of your creation. A new media in a new era. Will it take the lead in the future? I believe so. This is Underground.
Underground, when vague turns to clarity.
Welcome back. Dr. Khouloud Al-Khatib, we were just speaking about the Arab Spring and the effect that it's had on women's rights in every country. Can you elaborate more about that?
Yeah, let me tell you, what was the basic need for the Arab Springs? It was people calling for more democracy, for more security, for more establishment for their human rights, and these are common needs for all people, regardless of their color or gender or nationality. Because let us see, when people they went to streets and they struggled for these rights, woman was there. The woman was there struggling for women. She was man with man in the streets and calling for these rights. And at that moment, the man view her as a partner, or not only the man, in everybody.
There was a real partnership at that point. At that point, it was really there.
But the problematic issue, let me tell you, if we do look about the transitory constitutions which are now set, the case of women is not there.
Yes, it went in a whole different direction.
They want a woman to be a defender, but they don't want the cases of women to be there.
Okay.
Why don't we see, as was done in the Tunisian constitutions nowadays, which is the first constitutions in the Arab communities stating equality between men and women on gender basis.
Basically putting equality in the constitution.
That's it. That's what we need. That's what we are struggling for.
Of course. Doctor, what tools do, let's say, powerful women who are leaders in their communities, what tools do they use to become a leader and to change their communities?
The tools are many. And let me start by, the woman has to have self-confidence in herself. This is the first tool that she needs. Because if she does really believe that I can make it, she can make it.
She can.
She needs a vision to know what does she want. And she needs to be equipped with her skills. That's why we need a lot of trainings towards women. We need an awareness raising for women about her role. What can she make? What can she play in the society? What role can she play? We need an awareness about human rights for her. What are her rights? How can she live in dignity in a society? How can she train herself to be more skilled? And she needs 3, networking, because she needs to collaborate with others. She needs to exchange ideas. They need to exchange experiences, and that something gives a plus for her.
Doctor, how are women especially equipped to be leaders? How are they? What does a woman have as a female that makes her actually an excellent leader?
First of all, she has her feminism.
Yes.
If she knows how to draw it in a very activist way,
Yeah.
keeping her feminism, and let this feminism be her weapon. This is
Yeah.
number one. She can really be strong when she knows herself and when she knows what does she want, and when she really works on a systematic plan and really tactics that
Yes.
know what does she want to achieve. When she passes through a lot of trainings to increase her interpersonal skills, to make her more into society, to make her more into open to public, that really equips her.
Do you believe that women do have better interpersonal skills than men, or is that a generalization?
I think that could be a generalization because there is no definite stereotype characteristic that we say this is for men and this is for women. Who can say that men are more decisive than women?
Okay.
Or men are stronger than women?
Okay, we are going to look at something. There's a new study by Caliper. It's a Princeton-based management consulting firm. It says actually that women leaders, they took a look at CEOs, at business leaders, at community leaders. They said that they are more assertive and persuasive. They have a stronger need to get things done, and they're more willing to take risks than male leaders. They also found that women leaders were more empathetic, they were more flexible, and in the interpersonal skills domain, they were a bit stronger than their male counterparts. Do you have anything you can say about this? Anything you can comment about this?
I agree with you that these adjectives are really there. Women are strong, women are empathetic, women are flexible.
Persuasive maybe also.
Persuasive also at the same time. But let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Why should we compare man to woman? Why should we say that if man has these characteristics, the woman should or should not have?
Okay.
Let us look at a woman when she's nurturing her kids.
Yes.
Isn't she a leader?
She is.
Isn't she building a generation? Yeah. She's playing her leadership even not behind the desks and not in jobs. So that's why. But woman tends to be more participatory more.
Okay.
You know, she needs to participate, to engage others, to empower the others.
Okay, so there's a more collaboration maybe when the woman is the leader.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you say to people who strongly believe that women, they can't be community leaders?
I can say for them that women nowadays are visible. We do not more accept anymore to be invisible. You have to believe that any society, to look at any society to see if it's developed, if it really respects citizenship, if it's really democratic, if it really lives in dignity, it's because everybody lives in, and everybody has an equal access for all the legal and political issues. So no, we're no anonymous anymore, we're not invisible anymore, we're there. And you will accept us by experience, by history, and by the future who is waiting for us.
Yes, there's actually a very well-known quote that Palestine will never be free until its women are. Do you think this encapsulates the idea that you're trying to convey?
100%. Look what Wallace have said. The hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world. So you're born by your mother raised you up, have put a lot of effort and encouraged you. You know, that we were expecting our mothers to be our leaders, but we don't accept them in society. No.
Why can she be the head of the household, the mother, the nurturer, but not, for example, the head of parliament?
That's why.
That's right.
That's the glass ceiling policy that we have actually in our communities.
Exactly. Yes, we do. Dr. Khouloud, do you believe women are better in some roles than in others, or does it depend on the person, the individual woman?
Of course, it does really depend on, we cannot generalize a whole generation. It does depend on the interpersonal skills of everyone. How much does she have really worked on herself and improved herself? But I guess that sometimes we can say that bona fide qualification issues, sometimes certain jobs, they need women because, and this is not a form of discrimination, by the way, because it really matches their personality. So I think it's a wrong perspective if we say that men and women should be equal in all domains and that we need as the same possibility for women, the same possibility for men. No. We need women to have the access for all the right that suits her personality, that suits her by nature.
Okay. So she should have the choice.
Yes.
Okay. But in the end, that some things may suit her more than other domains.
And that's life. But the problem is that, let me tell you, the dual responsibility that we have between men and women. because man thinks that he is there for working outside the job. Outside the
home,
house.
yes.
And she's there. She has to have in-house job, and she has to work outside. This is the dual personality where man doesn't take part in, because maybe he thinks that it doesn't suit his nature. Probably.
Where on the other hand, everything suits the woman's nature.
That's what I'm telling you. That's the extremities that we have over women.
Yes. Doctor, there have been recent economic problems all over the world. It's pretty much an international, maybe we could say, recession. How has this affected women? You were talking about women having a job outside of the house and then coming home to have a job inside of the house. How can you comment on that?
Well, if you look at the wages and the compensation all over the world, first of all, you have seen that there was a difference between the wage earned by women and the wage earned by men. But because of this feminist movement and because of people who really believe in the gender equity, we started to look at wages on equal wages, even in dissimilar jobs. When they have the same skills, when they have the same seniority, the same experience, the same education, why should they have different salaries?
Why do they have different salaries?
Because of this gender gap, because of this male-oriented, masculine, superior...
Patriarchal societies.
That's patriarchal societies, that's it.
Okay.
But the good advantage is that societies now have noticed that it's very important to recruit the woman and to retain the woman because she's really equipped. That's why if you have a scan or helicopter view over most of the companies, you see that they open part-time jobs, flex-time jobs, telecommuting, and just allowing women to work from outside the job. What are these for, you think? Aren't these to allow to have a balance between the family and life?
Absolutely. Yes.
So if you take all of these, we see that no, a lot of chances and advantages are now for women, which were not before.
Okay.
Before we used to have a closed schedule from 8 to 5. No, we have flexibility, we have compressed time.
Can you tell us a little bit about compressed time, about flex schedules, telecommuting?
Yeah, telecommuting, when a woman can do the job, when she can do research, for example, or any kind of job from outside the work.
Yes.
So she doesn't have to present there physically. So she can attain everything, and that allows her to be at home, for example. When you say, for example, part-timer, she can choose to have 2 days per week or a certain time that she chooses. Or we can say compressed time. Let us choose, I can work, for example, 3 days per week and have 4 other days to live with my kids.
To be with your children,
yes. And that's how we can balance.
Okay, Dr. Khouloud, we're going to take a look at an infographic right now. The infographic, it shows us the percentages of women in parliaments around the world, actually. We see here that legislatures with the highest percentage of women are actually Rwanda, Andorra, Cuba, Sweden, and the Seychelles. We see also that the legislatures with the lowest numbers are Yemen, Oman, Vanuatu, Egypt, and Papua New Guinea. And very strangely, there are several countries that actually have no women in their legislatures. These countries are Palau, Micronesia, the Solomon Islands, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. We're going to start first. Do you think these numbers are coincidences?
Yes, they really reflect, these numbers really reflect their countries and the citizenship process we have in the country.
Okay.
If we say, for example, why do we have this highest percentage of women holding in governmental positions or parliament?
Yeah.
It is simply because women had a chance for political participation.
Yes, yes.
Because in that countries we have laws that really permit the women to hold these positions.
Yeah. Okay.
So in other countries we see it's allowed because we have amended some laws and some laws that does need a real motivations to let the woman reach there. When we do have absence, because we don't have laws that permit women to work or to attend, as we have seen in this case, to attend the parliament. Or
so you believe that the participation, the active participation of women in their governments is very much linked to the laws that exist in that country?
For sure, because if I ask you why do women cannot hold these political positions, because of many reasons and many challenges that we have.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna sum up, I can end up, for example, with 3 or 4 challenges. At the local level, at the legal level, it is the part of constitution, because in the constitution there is no gender equity, and at the level of laws, women and men are not equal, and the electoral law specifically does not allow women to be a parliament or to hold deputies in the government.
Okay.
From social background, excuse me 1 minute, as I have told you, because we do have this inequality and because of the economic, whether woman is allowed to work or not, all of this creates a spirit of country and gives a criteria if the country is really respecting democracy and citizenship or not.
Okay, so the numbers that we just saw, what do they tell us specifically about the societies that they come from? For example, like we said, there are some countries that have no women, absolutely no women in their legislatures, and unfortunately this also includes out of 5 countries, there are 2 Arab countries in this list in the legislatures with the lowest numbers. We also have 3 countries out of 5. What does this tell us about the state of Arabic society?
To tell about the status of Arab society, let me look for something very important called CEDAW, which is the Convention of Elimination Against Discrimination, forms of discrimination against women. We can see that the Arab communities or the Arab states in general, when they sign on this convention, they sign it with reservation.
They always have reservations.
They always have reservations of not permitting equality because of religious considerations, where, as in Quran, the man have double, twice rights more than women.
Okay,
or twice
so also the
women.
Cultural interpretations of the Quran and what society has made of it. It has a huge effect, as you said, on these kinds of laws. We're going to be taking a short break, Dr. Khouloud, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
The crisis of capitalism, the European impasse, the energy shortages, the emerging power of Asia, the economic power of the Arab world, the economic debate, informative, revealing, and progressive. It discusses the economic event of the world.
Economic debate, where the numbers reveal the truth.
Welcome back. Dr. Khouloud, in almost all societies, there's this idea, this fairy tale that many people tell their daughters about the helpless young woman and how she needs to be saved all the time. What can we do as community leaders to combat these kinds of fairy tales?
That's a very touchy question, by the way. I guess when you say fairy tale, I have to recall Cinderella.
Yes.
When the evil stepmother turned to be that strong woman.
Yes.
So that, I guess, we have a wrong stereotype about that women are helpless.
Yes.
So I guess in this occasion we have to contact Disney.
We do have to contact Disney.
We do have to contact Disney and try to change the image. No, really, women, by their struggle, by their movements and their activism, and by all the pioneers movement they have done through, they have proved that they are pioneers.
Yep.
And they have broken the stereotype, gender discrimination.
Very nice. Dr. Khouloud, how can we teach our daughters that they can be leaders?
By giving, first of all, them, let me talk about my daughter, how do I foresee with her?
Yeah.
I can get that she needs a space of freedom, that she knows to express herself, starting from a kid, when she knows that she has the right to play, she has the right to express. And as she grows older, she needs to have communication, she needs to have friends, she has the right to choose.
Yep.
And to draw herself, her vision, what suits her. Because when you equip her with all these tools, that really create strong vision with her. When she does really know what she can see the picture from big.
Yep.
With an open heart and a strong mind, she can be a leader in a society.
Very nice.
From her role, in a minimal.
Okay. We're going to be taking a phone call right now for Mrs. Fatima Haidar. Ms. Fatima Haidar, she is a school principal of the Canadian Lebanese Academy of Excellence, and she's also a finalist in New TV's Outstanding Woman Awards. Hello, Mrs. Fatima.
Hi.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
It's very nice to have you on our show today.
Thank you.
Mrs. Haidar, as a leader in your community, why do you believe that women can excel as community leaders?
They can excel?
Yes, why do you believe that they can excel?
because I don't view women as women. I view them as human beings. The day we stop seeing women as women, they will be stronger
Yes.
and they will excel because we're not labeling them as ladies.
Exactly.
Because we can do everything a man can do.
Yes. Mrs. Haidar, throughout your experience as a finalist on New TV's Lebanon Outstanding Women's Awards, did you find that the finalists had one thing in common or something that united them?
Yes, I do believe that.
Yes.
It was, they're all strong women.
Yeah. What else?
What else do they have in common?
Yes.
Well, they're hardworking.
Yeah.
They believe in themselves.
Yes.
And they are kind of leaders in their fields.
Okay. So they're all leaders in their respective fields. We were just talking with Mrs. Khouloud about whether or not women suit specific roles more than others. What do you think about that?
Could you please elaborate more?
Some people believe that women belong in a certain domain, even as leaders, that they might excel, for example, in education, in medicine, but not in other kinds of domains. Do you believe that there are better roles for women to be in as leaders, or are all roles the same?
Let me talk first about abilities and
Yeah.
capabilities.
Yes.
Women, I insist on if we stop as a society, as a community, to stop labeling and giving like gender roles.
Yes.
Women are capable of doing anything and everything.
Yes.
I believe they can do whatever they put their minds into because women are very, very strong, even though they're very sensitive.
Yes.
But women are very strong. In some areas, in some cases, they're stronger than men.
Okay.
What I would like to say here is it's because of the society, because when they're growing up, people say, oh, you're a girl, don't do that, you're not supposed to do this. I don't believe in that. That's wrong in my opinion.
Okay.
We should not give gender roles, and because when we stop doing that, we're going to end up with women being able to do everything men do.
Okay.
But I believe that there are certain fields where women, it's best for them to be.
Okay.
Okay. Not because they're less strong or anything,
Yes.
just because it's best. Because we have, as women, we have to go to work and still we have to take care of our families.
Yes, the double workload.
So I cannot be, let's say, away from my family for 10 days, let's say,
Yes.
and still take good care of my family. So yes, my dear, there are certain jobs, jobs that are best for women.
Okay. Mrs. Haidar, what differentiates a leader from a follower, from your experience?
A leader is somebody who initiates, who takes the initiative to do new things, to think outside the box, and who is so good with people that they could influence them and they could lead them around.
Okay.
A follower is somebody who lacks that. Lacks, the initiative,
Yes.
and lacks the good relationships with people to be able to lead them.
Yes, the network that Dr. Khouloud was speaking about right now. Mrs. Haidar, what can you say to people who believe that women cannot be community leaders?
Too bad for them.
They're missing out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have, throughout history and even nowadays, throughout history, we have many, many women who were very good leaders.
Yeah.
And even now. And if they deny that, I will tell you a secret. Just keep it between us and all the viewers in the world.
Okay.
That secret is even if we don't show ourselves as leaders,
Yes.
we are still leaders even amongst the smaller circles in our families, with our kids, with our husbands.
Yeah.
We don't express it very clearly,
Yes.
but we are the one who's taking the leadership role.
That's how we compromise.
That's right. Mrs. Haidar, do you believe that there is actually a shortage of good female role models for girls?
Well, let me say it's not a shortage. It's because of the media.
Yes.
The media doesn't show the good role models. They're there, they exist, there are too many. But we have some kind of problem with the media. They show only the beautiful ladies and Miss America or Miss Lebanon,
Yeah.
instead of putting the emphasis and the light on the ladies who are who are leaders,
Yes.
who are making a difference, who are helping in the community.
Yes. That's
the
right.
problem-
The mother, the professional, she's not given much attention in the media. It is the beauty queen, as you said.
Yes.
I have here a quote from Mira Swan. She says, "I believe that for a woman to become a leader today, she has to fight harder against the status quo, which requires her to be more focused and determined." Do women have to fight against the status quo to become leaders?
Yes, my dear, they do have to fight harder than men
Yeah.
because we live in a man-centered world.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, we have to work. I'm speaking from my,
Experience, your own experience.
not only experience, from my position.
Yeah.
To get to where I am today, I have to work twice as hard as any regular man
Yes.
because I have to prove to them first
Yes.
that I can, because they don't believe in women.
Okay. Do you believe that does make you more focused, more determined? Does that mean that you are a stronger person to be where you are today?
Of course.
Mrs. Fatima Haidar, the principal of the Canadian Lebanese Academy of Excellence, thank you for being on our show.
Anytime. My pleasure.
Dr. Khouloud, we're going to wrap up with you. What do you think of the ideas that Mrs. Haidar just conveyed?
Yeah, she was very systematic and she was very direct to the point.
Yeah.
And she really shed the light about all the challenges that women face
Yeah.
from experience, from her vision. And that's true. Leaders do create leaders. They do not create followers.
Yes.
That's why look how many people they are in power, but people they follow because they are complied to or forced to. And that's what we don't mean. We don't mean what leaders.
That's right.
Leaders are really who create innovations and.
Okay. Doctor, we were talking about role models for girls. Do you agree with Mrs. Haidar that there are plenty of excellent female role models for the young girl, but simply the media doesn't shed light on it?
Yeah, I believe that we lack media that really sheds the light on issues that really related to humanity. The media nowadays in Lebanon or worldwide, let us think, is focusing on a lot of issues for fun, for any kind of culture, for debates, hot debates, political issues.
Yep.
But the role of media is really to create awareness to the public.
Okay.
To let the public be aware of these issues that we need. And in Lebanon, for example, we do have a lot of freedom of press, but we do not have a free press that really exactly. So when we find a press that really, or media, focuses on these issues and created awareness, that would be a great movement for the people to raise awareness.
Dr. Khouloud, do you agree with Mrs. Fatima Haidar that there are a lot of excellent female role models for young girls, but simply the media doesn't shed light on them?
Yeah, sure, I agree with her 100%. Because the media is the fourth authority in Lebanon. When we say authority, it does create awareness. It should be a real important point of bridging between the people and the raising of more awareness. So although we do have a lot of freedom of press in Lebanon, but we really need a free press.
Okay.
We need a free press that really tackles a lot of humanitarian issues and create awareness, and not looking at a woman as a stereotyping, as she has said, yani, being beautiful or whatsoever. No, let us shed on the deep inside of woman.
That's
and
right.
how can she raise up or add to her experience.
Okay. Dr. Khouloud, how can you conclude our topic today? What do you say to women worldwide who wish to be community leaders, who wish to have an active role in their communities?
I want to say that this enormous effort through history up till now has not been in vain.
Yes.
No, we do have a lot of successful stories. We do have a lot of successful transformation. We are still in a process, and a lot of things we need to do more. We have to know that there are a lot of challenges, and any cycle of movement or a change does need needs a lot of efforts. I can say we'll keep on. We'll keep the engine on. We're not gonna turn it off.
Yes.
And we're gonna stay in a cycle.
Okay.
And I say a big hayarian for my mom.
Okay.
For being a real leader.
Being a leader
for my mom.
who
Yes.
had leaders, and hopefully you will also have daughters who will also be leaders.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Dear viewers, the unique abilities of women to inspire, to lead, and to change make them the very best type of leaders. Their resilience and their strength can serve to make our world a better place if they're encouraged to take the first step. Thank you for watching.